Hello and welcome to Seatrade Cruise Talks. We're back with another episode. Seatrade Cruise Talks is a series of educational content featuring cruise professionals and industry leaders discussing the challenges and opportunities of the current and future industry climate. You can sponsor a talk to align your brand with innovative thinking and recent trends, and to receive highly relevant, engaged leads that are seeking the sort of value your brand provides. Contact us at sales@seatradecruise.com or find us on socials at Seatrade Cruise. And don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to our channel for weekly talks content. Hello and welcome to Seatrade Cruise Talks. With me today is Figen Ayan, President of MedCruise. Thank you, Figen, for joining me. It's such a pleasure to speak with you here today.
I'm delighted to be with you, Holly.
So, first of all, Seatrade Cruise Med took place in Malaga this year. So, could you please tell me how you feel that went?
Well, Malaga is an amazing destination in itself. It is one of the oldest cities in the world, and when you're walking through the town, you're really immersed by the history, which is expanding up or as far as the Phoenicians are concerned, including actually the Romans and the Moors as well. And you really feel like you're traveling in time when you're walking through Malaga streets. So that's why it is very good, and we were really looking forward to be all together, physically embracing each other in such a beautiful and special framework. So we're very happy, and we're thanking all the parties involved at Malaga destination who made this happen.
And there was a moving ceremony with the award show as well. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about that, Figen.
Well, I'm gonna try not to cry again, but it was very emotional. We dedicated the MedCruise Award to the Black Sea region, who has been suffering for quite a while in not having any cruise ships. And since the 24th of February, not only the cruise industry, but the world opened up its eyes in a totally new dimension, and there are so many balances of power going on. But the cruise industry is a beautiful industry where we are embracing our flows and getting together and just, having a possibility of putting aside all the political games and really resourcing from our beautiful destinations. And that's why we wanted, as MedCruise, to dedicate an award to the Black Sea region. And we invited Julia from the port of Odessa to take this award. And she flew her country in Europe since then. So it was, we have been working and talking about it with her, and she made it. She's physically here with us. So being physically present at Seatrade Cruise Med is bringing another dimension thanks to her presence here. It's in a way having all the Ukrainian nation here with us at Seatrade Cruise Med, and it was a very emotional moment for all of us.
It certainly was. And this was the first time you've had a MedCruise award, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we would like to thank also the whole Seatrade family who made this happen, and all our board members who supported this idea. And like I said, it was really important and very symbolic to have Julia with us. So
Yes. Well, thank you, Figen, for being there. And it was a beautiful moment, a very special award. And of course, you at Istanbul, you also had a special award come your way, I think.
Yes, well, Galata Port Istanbul was awarded as the Port of the Year. Back home, they asked me what the Seatrade Award is for the people who are not from our industry. and they asked me, is it the Oscar of the cruise industry? And I said, yes, it's the Oscar of the cruise industry, and it's a beautiful port. We have built up a terminal building under the ground as a first, a special height system which is creating the temporary customs zone, and I'm waiting for everyone to see it, because we have created a socially sustainable area where the cruise industry and the local community can come together. And do you know, Holly, in our call center, the most asked question is how we can get on a cruise.
Wow.
So actually
Wow.
we keep on talking about how we can bring together the local community and the cruise industry in our destination. Well, I think that Galata Port Istanbul is a very fine example of it.
Wonderful. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And obviously you're very well connected with your members. The association has very strong connections. So please tell me, what has been the feedback from Seatrade Cruise Med this year?
Well, first of all, we as Mediterraneans, we like being together. We like shaking hands. We like being physically present. So first of all, it was just amazing to be back after so many years apart at Seatrade Cruise Med. The networking was just amazing. The conversation, I mean, when you're walking along the alley, all the booths were crowded and busy with meetings, whether it was cruise lines, but also actually all the stakeholders who are making our industry even better every day. So in that sense, it was a very vibrant, a very lively Seatrade Cruise Med like never before, I can say.
Well, that's fantastic feedback. Thank you, Figen. So I'd like to ask you now a bit about how your values have shaped your presidency so far at MedCruise.
Well, actually, MedCruise is an amazing association which is giving you the tools to go as far and to represent a kind of region which is expanding from the Atlantic Ocean, including Azores and Cabo Verde, and down to actually the Eastern Med as far as Cruise Saudi is concerned, and the whole North African ports, the Black Sea region, but also what there is in between. So it's 145 cruise ports from 22 countries, which are 11 EU and 11 non-EU. So it's just automatically shaping your mandate. And for me, there were two priorities, and there are two pillars in my mandate, along with my 12 board members, is first of all sustainability. But the sustainability approach has been slightly different in the sense that it's much wider. We're approaching sustainability on a 360 degree. And what we're trying to do here is not to talk only about LNG or shore power, but we want to see the socially sustainable aspect of our destination, and just see that the port are not only a port with a pier and a terminal building, bollards, fenders, but they are definitely more than that. They are the window to all these destinations. And we realized, according to many research that we have done and read, that the future travelers and the current travelers after the pandemic want to have more conscious and sustainable experiences in our port. So it is our responsibility just to make sure that actually the socially sustainable aspect is involved in the whole process. So we're creating new experiences which are more socially sustainable. We are also creating a crew-friendly approach, and we have actually one board director, Lorenzo, who is also our vice president, who is dedicated on the destination development. And we are just collaborating with different entities, universities, Piraeus, Boccolino in Italy, but also AIVP, Association Internationale Ville-Port, which is instrumental in just creating a growth in our calls and our passenger number, but also making sure that the local community is just aligned with what they're expecting. So it's actually, when the passengers are coming, they will be receiving sustainable and organic excursions and experiences. And on the other side, the local community will be able actually just to embrace the cruise industry, so that they are just understanding that these cruise ships are very various from one another and have various things to offer. And the berthing policy is also another instrumental thing that we have to look at, so that actually all the ships are not coming all in the same day. So there's a lot, so we can talk about it later on as well, Holly.
Great, and I'm really glad you mentioned...
Oh, sorry, very sorry.
Go ahead.
And the second pillar is data. In a digitalized world, we need just to be supported by information, numeric information, and to put a story behind these numbers. So whatever I'm saying and whatever our members are just expressing, we want it to be supported by numbers. We have appointed data analysts so that we can have a look to our past information and we can compare our data. But the thing which is key here is sharing data. So we're going to knock at the door of the cruise line so that we understand what they want from us, but in numbers.
Great, I see. And that's something you're very strong opinions on, Figen, I think, when it comes to collaboration. And we heard at Seatrade Cruise Med when you spoke about the need for collaboration and the sharing of information, which is something in the Mediterranean and Mediterranean ports that you really pride yourself on, right?
Definitely. Well, actually, during the pandemic, this collaboration spirit didn't only linger or sustain, it was even stronger. When you're representing 22 countries and you are all of a sudden faced to a crisis which is really showing us an unknown world, what you're doing, you're just gathering and just trying to understand what you have to do. So it was instrumental that all the ports were regularly, every week, we're just meeting to understand what the regulations were about, what regulation was good and was not, and what we could just do so that we could have an impact in the governmental regulations and also laws, so that we can open up windows. I think that actually the example of the beautiful collaboration we have done is that actually, in one point during the pandemic, the borders between Greece and Turkey were closed. And MedCruise, along with actually the cruise lines, along with Seatrade in spreading the word, and CLIA as well, and all the governmental, the Greek government and the Turkish government came together and just we sat on the table and we opened up the borders. And I think that that was just amazing, because you go beyond the political situations. You go beyond actually what is going on in meeting rooms. It is more vivid just to shape the industry the way we want it to be shaped. And so that was really instrumental too. And talking about collaboration, yes, this is really the talking about the pillars, and there are some different branches under the sustainability activities. Collaboration is key, and we are collaborating with the EU and the European Commission so that they understand that in a one-week itinerary, it's not only the EU countries who are involved, but non-EU countries. So how are we gonna, does all the port need LNG power? Does all the ports need shore power? And, you know, we have port members who have millions of passengers, but some just have a few thousand. And so the approach should be different from one to the other. So collaboration is just key for us.
I want to come back to your first pillar as well, Figen, and looking at sustainability, which is something you're really passionate about. So I wanted to know, how is it that the association is supporting those values?
Well, excuse myself, Holly, I need to look at my screen because we did so much since November that with our board members that I need to have a look. But basically, we created the MedCruise for Our Planet hashtag, and underneath there's so much that we have created and shaped. First of all, to come back to the strong international collaboration that we have created. We went to Brussels and we explained that actually these ports are not only ports and terminals or pier, but that we are like the windows and the opening gate to all these destination experiences, whether it's for the palate or for the eyes or for the sensations. So it's very important that we relay the message that we as MedCruise Association, representing 140 ports, 45 ports, it's an opening to very different destination and experiences. CLIA also, we are working hand in hand with CLIA so that we can just have actually a support to each other. Global Sustainable Tourism Council is also very important. We're trying to create criteria so that the excursions can be measurable in terms of sustainability, and that when the passengers are coming to my city, let's say, they can have a choice and see really on the excursion how much percentage of this tour is actually green. And Worldwide Fund for Nature, WWF, and Plastic Free is also another collaboration we have been doing. We have created new initiatives and good practices, like actually we have fundamentally a very eco-conscious mandate, and we created the One Registration, One Tree campaign, and we planted 185 trees actually in France and Portugal upon our last GA. We are 80% no printing policy, so 20% is, well, it can be zero, but actually we started with 80% no printing policy. The crew-friendly port initiative is very important for us, because if today I am talking to you in Malaga, is things at Seatrade Cruise Med, is thanks to all the crew who stayed on board the ship. And when we went back home, they were there to, stay away from their families as well. So I want to give a tribute to them and recognize the heroic approach they had. The berth allocation, good practice and tool is important as well. We are just conducting studies too. We're looking at the social economic impact on the cruise sector in collaboration with Bocconi University. We are looking at the capacity for greening of European seaports with Piraeus University. We are constantly conducting MedCruise fast-finding reports too. We have very different projects too, like the Mediterranean Sea Basin Lighthouse coordination activities. We are creating an OPS map, like the LNG map that you can find on our website. And this morning we have initiated actually the Adriaco project, which is regrouping 8 ports, including Venice, to actually 8 ports, so that they can just learn about their cultural and historical richness. So we have also very special MedCruise groups. Development course will be on the 24th of November and would be dedicated to sustainability. And last but not least, we are working with AIVP, and we have a record of participation. 29 of our port members are participating, and it's the Association Internationale Ville-Port, so that we can bring the municipalities and the local community with the cruise industry. That's a lot.
Thank you, Figen. That was really informative. And I wanted to clarify the cruise-friendly network. This is where you are appealing to the destinations to support crew members, right, through various incentives?
Yeah, well, actually, we have just launched a survey so that we could understand which port is doing what for every crew. We have to keep in mind that if a ship is 3,000 passengers, 1/3 of it is by crew, and they are really the ambassador of a destination. So whether they are giving just free Wi-Fi, this is something. And I would like also the other port to not necessarily think of giving any incentive, have the ability to say, hey, well, actually somebody is giving free incentive. At Galata Port Istanbul, we are giving special discounts, not only to the passengers, but to the crew as well, in one of the more than several actually, many tenants, from restaurants to clothing, or actually in our grocery shop. So it can just give an example to many different ports. And we will create a kind of logo so that whenever the crew will be going and navigating inside of MedCruise map, they will know that, well, hey, this is a crew friendly and I can have something special and they're thinking of me.
Yes, absolutely. And you recently had a General Assembly.
Well, I would like to thank again Costa Brava for hosting an amazing General Assembly. We had a record participation, 185 instead of 100. Many different cruise lines supported us, and I would like to send them a very special thank as well. And they were totally aligned with the sustainable approach, from the little gift, which was eco-conscious and eco-friendly, to the restaurants, which was using, they were not only Michelin, which was just delicious, but they were also organic. So I think that it's, we have changed the word sustainability. We have expanded, we have shaped it as the port and destination. So I think that in the vocabulary from now on, it will have another meaning. It won't be dedicated only to free emission. It's more than that. It's a social approach. It's a mindful approach. And that's why, whether you have a kid or not, we have to protect this planet. It's our responsibility as a human being.
Understandable, Figen, and it's wonderful to hear your passion, to hear you talk about this. So I want to ask you, so far, since being president of the association, what has been, in your opinion, your biggest achievement?
That's a beautiful question. I think that, well, we have talked about all the achievements we have done. I mean, about sustainability, about data governance. But I think that being a woman, and I'm not talking about a feminist man and a woman here, I'm talking about the feminine energy, which has an embracing approach, a compassionate approach. And this is, I think, the main achievement that not only I, as the president of MedCruise, but us as the board members, the secretariat, and also every single board member have achieved, is just to be a family, to be the MedCruise family, where we can find a shelter, whether it's for laughing, or it's for crying, or for
dancing. I think lots of dancing.
Dancing as well. So we work hard but we dance hard too.
And finally, Figen, if you could please tell me, what would you hope to have achieved by the time your presidency at the association comes to an end? What would you like your legacy to be?
I would like, first of all, to understand the impact in terms of numbers of one ship on my city, and not read here and there. And I would like just to come back to what Mr. Honorato said at the State of the Industry, having correct numbers. And I think it's our responsibility as MedCruise Association, as CLIA, just to say and to look and face the reality of how much emission and footprint a cruise ship is just impacting our cities. So instead of reading it on social media, which we don't know where these numbers are coming from, I want to know it. And I think that that would be the main achievement I want to do as future. I want to continue this family spirit. I don't know who will be the next president in the next mandate, but I really want to have this compassionate and embracing approach as well, to linger and continue. Because as a woman, if I am strong, it's thanks to another man who just saw the light in all these women, and saying that we're seeing the strength of men. So yeah, that's what I would like to have.
Thank you, Figen. Well, that's all we have time for today. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you very much to the lovely Figen Ayan for joining me.
Thank you.
Very informative, very insightful. And thank you very much for watching us. And don't forget that you can find out all of the latest cruise news at www.seatrade-cruise.com, where we will also post all of our latest Seatrade Cruise Talks videos. Thanks again for watching.